Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to MYC Uncensored's Women in STEM podcast series. Today, I'm joined by Eliza Greenwood, a very knowledgeable information technology consultant. So without further ado, let's get into it. We can just jump right into the questions. So
Yeah.
basically, just introduce yourself, what your occupation is, and what would you say your contributions to the field of STEM are? Obviously, that was a multi-layered question, so you can just break it up.
Yeah, so I'm Eliza Greenwood. I started in IT in 2019, so I've got a fair bit of experience at the moment. I'm a IT consultant and technician, and I'd say the main contributions are I do hardware and software support, so that's installing, configuring, repairing, that sort of thing. And then just general system maintenance, so backups, making sure systems are secure and operational, and verifying systems are functional. And then networking's also a big part of it. So implementing networks, maintaining organizations' networks, diagnosing network issues, and then general troubleshooting, so general IT, hardware, software, networks, remotely and in person. So I did do a bit of both remote and in-person support. And then lastly, I'd say cybersecurity is one of the other main contributions.
Okay, wow. What would you say, like I've heard like quite a bit of people are getting into cybersecurity and it's been on the rise for the past couple years. What would you say a common misconception about entering the field of cybersecurity is?
I think a lot of people think they need massive degrees from uni. They think, oh, I need to go to uni and study for 5 years and then I'll figure it out from there. But a lot of it is actually just getting the experience. So just starting anywhere, whether that be looking up YouTube videos or doing courses online, just anywhere to start is a good idea.
Okay, awesome. What would you say your story was in finding your passion and ultimately choosing the career path you went down?
Yeah, I'd say growing up, I did learn quite a lot of computer skills from my dad. It was very basic, like building websites and making Minecraft servers, building computers. And then in year 11 in high school, I picked IT as an elective because I thought, well, I like tech. And then I did work experience in IT through high school. And during the work experience, I was working on a network issue. And I remember thinking, like, I had this big epiphany. I thought, this is the career I want to take. I really enjoyed it. And then after I graduated, I saw a Microsoft traineeship advertisement. And it was Microsoft's first traineeship program. So I had never heard of it before. And then I applied, and after 5 interviews, it was a bit of a long process. I was surprised I actually got in. It was great. Yeah, I think they only picked about 20 of us. I found that to be quite an accomplishment. So I'm always look back and proud of that.
Yeah, wow, congrats. Yeah, that seems like yeah, definitely. I think a big thing is like very rigorous job selection processes. So yeah, that's a really cool experience. What would you say your biggest challenge has been in terms of being a woman in STEM? And it doesn't even need to be like a super big one, just one that you think happens to a lot of people or was kind of unique to your own experience.
I'd say gender bias
Mm,
and stereotypes with women, because I've had some people over the experience that I've had working in IT, they kind of have the perception that STEM careers are meant for men. And unfortunately, I did experience some of that discrimination early on in my career. So, especially because as you start out, you aren't as knowledgeable, but then they assume it's because you're not a man that you're not knowledgeable. They don't assume, oh, well, you're new to the career. I'd say that that's the
mhm.
biggest challenge. Yeah.
How do you maintain your passion and continue to go whenever you face challenges like that? Or like dealt with people who made you feel like that?
Yeah, I think I think it's more whenever I solve a problem, I get this sense of satisfaction. So, and I don't take it personally because I'm able to separate work from personal life. So, I think some people do struggle with separating the both, so they get offended. But for me, the reason I don't get offended easily is because I think, well, it's the workplace. I'm a different person at work to at home. You leave your personal life at home when you go to work. So.
Mhm. Okay, awesome. Did you have any mentors when you were like starting out in your career, and do you think that played a big role?
Yeah, I'd definitely say my year 11 and 12 IT teacher, she and another woman were the IT for the school, which none of my other friends had female IT teachers, so that was lucky for me.
Mhm.
They were big role models, seeing them be able to actually pursue a career, and they're much older. They're far more experienced and they're still in IT as a career. So that kind of inspired me from there on.
That's awesome. What would you say the most exciting parts about your job are, that most people probably wouldn't assume?
Yeah, I'd say maybe first of all the problem solving. So, like as I said before, you get that kind of sense of accomplishment and satisfaction, especially because people, when you solve their issue, they then see you as a lifesaver, and yeah, it's a feel good thing. And then there's also the constant need for growth and learning. So needing a growth mindset because everything in tech's always changing. So it keeps it interesting essentially. And then yeah, I'd say also variety in working days is another exciting thing. Not every day is the same. So one day there might be a major network issue, the next day data migration, the next like a backup issue, for example. So you kind of get exposure to different areas and it's never the same.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm. If someone was kind of interested in following into a similar career path as you, what is something that you would advise them to consider or think about before they really committed to it or had considerations about?
Yeah, I'd say be prepared to sometimes unexpected things do happen.
Mhm.
Like sometimes you might have to stay back a bit longer than normal because of client expectations or there's a something specific you need to have set up and then you have struggles during like unexpected things come up and then it just keeps dragging on and yeah, and then I suppose you have to be aware of the having a growth mindset. Some people kind of get stuck in one area and they don't look at other learning paths and they don't explore all the other skills. So, I mean, as I said before, everything's changing. So it's something that you've got to be able to be open to the constant learning.
Okay. And on that note, what does work-life balance look like in this job? Would you say it's a good split, or you kind of have to prioritize one or the other?
I suppose it depends what role you're in. So early on, if you're in help desk roles, for example, it can be a very strict 9 to 5. You go home after, that's it. But you might later on be offered on call jobs, or you might proceed in your skills and get to a level that's a bit higher where you have more expectations from people, and then there can kind of be expectations of you doing a bit of work after hours. And I suppose you just have to set boundaries if you need to with clients. So if it's not urgent, you have to learn to tell people I can look into this tomorrow, I can look into this this day, that day. Otherwise, they get a habit of reaching out to you after hours, and then that becomes your habit. So having that strict boundary helps break up the balance between work and home. So, and I often find having a post-work routine helps separate work from personal life. So if you finish at 5:30, just shut down your laptop, go for a walk or go to the gym or just have a shower, anything but work. And then that kind of tells your brain, okay, well, I'm done for the day. It's personal time.
Oh, awesome. And final question, do you have any words of wisdom or advice that you would impart on a young girl who's kind of interested in pursuing STEM or isn't really sure, and is kind of uncertain about if they want to go into that career path?
Yeah, I'd say the first thing is just keep reminding yourself that you do belong in STEM because it might not feel that way. It probably won't feel that way at first, but yeah, your presence is powerful as a woman in STEM. It helps open the door for the next generation of girls that want to pursue the STEM careers. So it's think of it as you're not part of the change. You are the change, really. And you're the reason change is happening. So, and second of all, don't be afraid because confidence does grow as you progress and gain experience. So you don't need to be ready straight away to start working in STEM. You just have to start regardless. So even small steps like just trying a coding class or watching some YouTube tutorials or tinkering with things and that sort of thing.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to add, to the interview? If not, we did cover quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to say thanks for your time